welcome back. Today I'm finally bringing to you my Colourpop Blue Moon palette review. I got this in last week, and if you guys already saw it, you'll know that I did a little video comparing it to the Blue Blood palette by Jeffree Star Cosmetics. I did full-on swatches of both and paired them up in order to see if we had some dupes on our hands. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put a little boop up to that one in case you want to check it out, see it for yourself. But spoiler alert, they are very different palettes, which makes me even more excited. So now I don't have two matching blue palettes. This one is completely unique to itself, but I have now tested this palette out for an entire week, so I have a pretty solid opinion about this palette. The Colourpop Blue Moon palette does retail for $12, and you receive 9 eyeshadows. 5 are matte and 4 are shimmers. The compact is also really nice. You get a really large mirror inside, and it is now made of plastic. I'm also going to insert right now what these look like as swatches. I think they look beautiful, even just swatched out. The last one, Clued In, doesn't swatch that amazing. You look at it and you're like, oh, is that going to be patchy, since it doesn't look like it swatches the most even, but I have to tell you guys that one works beautifully on the eyes. I have it on today. All of these colors I've been testing out and playing with and making sure that they all perform really good, and they 100% do. This is such a fun palette. I love how it's monochromatic. I love the blue theme. They do have a few different palettes, I believe. They have a pink, they have the watermelon one, they have a green one, now they have a blue one. I'm not sure if there's more, but I really hope they keep going with this color scheme of one for each color. I love it. I think that is so fun. I really need to hop on their website and order a few more of them because I am thoroughly enjoying this. I know not everyone is going to enjoy an all blue palette, but I feel like if you have another brown tone palette or something a little bit more neutral, you can definitely work in those shades and combine it with some different blue ones. They do also have one palette that I do think has blue moments and a few neutrals, and I think that was the Wet palette. Was it the collaboration they did with Bretman Rock? It might be that palette. I'll pop the image of the one I'm thinking of up here. I personally don't own that one, but I have seen it before and it does look really beautiful. So if that's something you're more interested in, you might want to pick up that palette instead. I can't exactly say the quality of those. I have heard really good things about it, but I can definitely speak for the quality of this palette, and I can tell you guys 100% it's amazing. So if you want this one, you can always combine it with another palette and make it your own. I mean, that's the thing with makeup, you can just use it however you want. But now you guys get the idea. I really enjoy this palette. Let me stop rambling about it and let me jump into the demo portion where I show you guys how I do this. Let's do it. I did already start off with one eye completed just so I kind of knew what I wanted to do today. I did also already prime the lids. You guys know Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion in Eden. That is my go-to primer. I use that every single time. But now let's jump into the Blue Moon palette. And I actually wanted to use as many shadows as I could today so I could show them to you on camera. So I'm going into the shade Moonlight, the soft blue up here. You could honestly use any brush you want to with this that's really fluffy. I'm using the Sigma E40 because that's the one I have clean. I have to wash my brushes here very soon. Am I the only one that gets really lazy when it comes to cleaning makeup brushes? I put it off for the longest time. I hate doing it. It's so tedious. But I'm just blending this into the crease as our transition shade. Then we're dipping it back into the palette one more time. I'm going to be taking the shade over here called Starry Eyed. And I'm making sure I'm tapping off my brush each time because there's actually not a lot of fallout with this palette, which is amazing since it's blue shadow. If you happen to get some of that down on your foundation or your powders, anything like that, it's kind of game over for the rest of your makeup. It is very difficult to try to remove blue that has fallen down. So I'm so happy that this palette actually doesn't have a lot of fallout. Which, by the way, you guys, I'm using the Luxie 121 mini tapered brush to blend this in. I'm also not going on the lower lash line because that's going to be a completely different color. So So back into the palette now. And I believe the next shade that I took was Dabadi. So that's a shade right up top. I'm blue, ba-da-dee-da-da-da. Oop, almost didn't tap that off. Could have been a bad situation. Ooh, look at that color. So pretty. So I'm just using this to pack out here in the outer V. And I'm gonna bring it in slightly below where we put those other two crease shades. And just gently working this color in. You know what? I'm gonna lay down a little bit of powder just right out here. Just to catch anything in case it does happen to fall out with some of the darker shades. Like I just did with the Dabadi shade, and I almost didn't tap it off. I could have a mishap and I don't want to ruin the rest of my makeup. So that's just gonna be my safety net in case I happen to not tap off my brush. Because if you don't tap off the brush, you get a lot of fallout. So you gotta make sure you remember that. And then going in with even more shades, we're gonna take Fine China, which is such a beautiful royal blue shade. Tapping that off, and I'm gonna place that down in the outer V. Just really packing that shade down. And I'm using my Morphe Y19 brush to pack that on. And once I've really packed that color down, I'll just take the tip of my brush now, just kind of blend out the edges. Oh, I'm so glad I put the shadow safety net down here because I did not tap off the brush enough. Whenever I get on camera, I tend to kind of forget what I'm doing sometimes, and I'll just be like, boop. It's a bad habit I have. And then I'm gonna be taking the last matte shade that they have inside this palette called Clued In, right down here. Taking that on the Morphe Y15 brush. I'm also just gonna be stamping this out in the outer V, using the flat side of the brush just to deepen things up a tiny bit more. And I'm just gonna be keeping that color out here in the outer V, not dragging it anywhere else. Just lightly tap, 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 tap. And then let's use some shimmery shades. I'm gonna take the Billie Jean shade, which has to be one of my favorite shimmery shades from this palette. So gorgeous. And I'm gonna give it a little spritz, just to help the shadow out. Ooh, look at that color. So beautiful. And I don't even need concealer with that shade. It's so pretty. It just pops on its own. Now let's do some inner corner highlight. I'm taking this shade Lumi, which if we're ranking the favorite foiled eyeshadows, this one's second. I didn't even wet this one. Ooh, I see. Also taking a little bit up here on the brow bone. Just giving it a little bit of a monochromatic highlight moment since it's got that blue shift to it. And now let's wipe away our safety net. So happy I did that. It was doing so good too. And for the lower lash line, I went in with a shimmery shade. I took Tide Pool on my Moda Medium Eye Shader, and I did give it a little bit of a spray. I just feel like it helps a lot if you do that. And it's such a intense blue shadow to have underneath on the lower lash line. Brightens everything up, I think. And I just took that all the way across the lid. I debated for a second using the Mad About You shade just out here in the outer V area, so that way I could show you guys all the shades, but then I felt like maybe it'd be too much. 9 shades on the lid. It's a lot to do, a lot to work with. But that shade is also really beautiful. And then if you want help blending it out, I'm going back to the previous brush I was using. This is the Luxe 121. I was using it with the shade Starry Eyed. And I just kind of fluff out the edges here. And then that's actually it for the whole eyeshadow look. Now all we need to do is pop on a little bit of mascara. I'm going to use the Too Faced Better Than Sex. Just go up the top lashes really quickly. Prepare for some lash application. Because, spoiler alert, these are not my real lashes. For lashes, oh, I think I got rid of the little bottom piece, but I'm using the Triple Push-Up Lash Couture by Kiss. They are in the style Corset. Ooh, I'm addicted to this pair. I got it a few weeks ago and I've used them several times now. They're still holding in. If you take care of your lashes, you can make them last a really long time, which is amazing. And they're just such beautiful, affordable lashes. And then once the lashes have been secured, I just take a little bit of liquid liner. Let me open the cap. Ah, carefully. Wearing a white shirt. I'm trying to be a little careful. And I'll just go in and add a little bit of liner from the inner corner to connect with the lash. That way it all connects. I'll just fill in some little gaps. Since I didn't do a wing liner or anything like that, I just go in and fill in where you can see a little bit of natural skin poking through. And then here is the completed look using the brand new Blue Moon palette. Just a really fun kind of smoky blue eye look. It's so fun. I definitely enjoy having a little bit of a colorful palette like this for the more spontaneous, more out there days. I mean, it's not an everyday palette. You have to kind of keep that in mind when looking at this. If this doesn't jump out to you and you're like, oh, I need it, totally understand. But if you're someone who likes to experiment, you like having more fun days, like maybe it's a weekend, you don't have work, you're not doing anything really too important, and you just want to go a little wild with your makeup, I definitely think that you guys would enjoy this palette. It is so beautiful. It performs amazing, and all of the shades are just very intense and vibrant. So it's such a great blue eyeshadow palette for the price. I mean, it's just all around awesome. Let me know in the comment section down below if you guys are going to be picking up this palette, or if you're going to be passing on it, or whatever your guys' thoughts were on today's video. I love hearing from you guys. If you like this video, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that little bell button. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys!